Hello and welcome back. In this tutorial, we look at string formatting and step sequences. So let's dive in and start this tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to look at the importance of string formatting, the old style of string formatting, the str.format method in Python, the step sequences, row string, and formatting numbers. So let's begin with the first one, the importance of string formatting. Now, strings are everywhere in Python. That's in logging, messaging, building, printing, and much more. Without string formatting, the combination of the string and variables would be messy, and that's where string formatting comes in handy, keeping the code clean and an easy to read one. Let's give an example to that. Now, in this statement, we're going to print out it contains strings and variables, and we're going to print this out in the terminal. It's going to contain the string in the print function together the variables, but it contains a lot more characters. Let me print out so you can see it. Uh, mhm, so here it is, but right here it contains a bit more characters and might be a bit harder for someone who is a beginner. So let's dive in and look at the old styling of formatting a string. Now in the old styling, it used the percentage sign to denote as a placeholder for a variable. It got three signs. You have this one and an S at the end to represent a string. Now the other one got a D in the end representing an integer, and the other one represents a float which got an F. We're going to go through the three of them. Uh, Let me think of an example. Right here we got an age which is an integer and name which is a string. So let's say we include GPA or ratio like that. So let's have a print statement which includes the old styling method. Let me expand this so you can see it clearly. I believe this is clear enough. So here it is. This is probably the old formatting method. Now this point one here represents one decimal place, and this here stands as a placeholder for the variables, which makes them callable. I had not placed this earlier. That's why I was getting an error saying object is not callable. From here, let's look at string.format method. It was introduced in Python 3. It's much simpler compared to the old method. Now in string.format method, we use the curly braces instead of the percentage sign. Let me show you. Just to make it quick, let me use the example that we had right here. So we have it right here. Let me comment this out so it's much more clearer. So this is the string.format method. I forgot to mention, when using the old style method, you gotta make sure that when you align your variables right here, they must be in order and well arranged. But it can be quite different in string.format method. For example, you can use a position holder, a positional argument on them. For example, you can have a 0, 1, sorry, and here too. So once you have this, you can use the positional arguments anywhere in the string. Supposing you have here 0, as you can see right here, it's no longer the percentage or the float that you had, but it's rather the name that is repeating itself, since it's now a position 0 here is a positional holder for the first name here, which is our variable. So you can use that in another way that you want. In another way, you can use the keyword argument. For example, you can have here n, have an n here, and have an r here. We're just using the initial names of the variables to keep it simple and more clear. Let's say here n, let me just do this. This was supposed to be a. Now when I have this, you can see the keyword argument is well represented and it's well printed out here in the terminal. So from here, we head to the step sequence, which is our number 4 in this list. Now for the step sequence, we have got a number. Let me just select them first. We have 3. Now in this one, these are the ones that we are going to use most commonly. So here we have a \t, double backslash, single backslash with a single quote, single backslash with a double quote, single backslash with a b, and a single backslash with an n. So a single backslash with a t simply adds a tag, adds a space horizontally on a string. The double backslash, this is used most importantly when you are dealing with paths, like when you are locating paths in your system. A path is something like this one here, like this one right here. So while working with Python, not unless we use the raw string, which we're going to look at in this tutorial. We're going to include a double forward slash in this one. This is forward slash. In Linux, we use backslash. So if you are working with Linux, you are going to include double backslash when working with Python, so that it's not eliminated or treated as unexpected while you're working with it. A single backslash with a single quote. This tells the interpreter that this single quote is to be preserved, and therefore during interpretation, while working with a single quote string, it's not going to interfere with how your string is formatted. The same case applies to the single quote with the double quote. No, the backslash, single backslash with the double quote. No, the single backslash with a B. This represents backspace and deletes the first character, and single backslash with an N. This simply tells the interpreter to move on to the next line. So let me give an example so that you can clearly take a look at this. Uh, Now right here we have a clear demonstration of the step sequence. As you can see, now we use an F string here, which stands for formatted strings. This allows us to include variables in our string while printing. It's much more efficient while working with strings. So right here we have a slash n, which tells the interpreter to move on to the next line. As you can see, each and every that we include a slash n, we have our string moved on to the next line. And then we have a slash t here, which works as a tab. It increases space horizontally. As you can see right here, we did not include any space, but on the terminal, we have a space included, which makes it organized and much more simpler to read and understand. The same case applies to the slash n. Now, for example, if right here, uh, let's say we have this, and say we have names. Now you can see right here, we have an F string with a single quotation mark, a single quote mark, and now when we include this step sequence, it avoids interrupting with the normal single quote mark that is supposed to work on the F string, and it prints it out in the terminal, and it works perfectly fine. With this, I hope it's clear on the step sequence, and so far that we've come, we have the importance of formatting and the importance of string formatting, the old styling of string formatting, str.format method, the step sequence, and now we want to look at the row string. Now row string, it simply works mostly when working with paths most of the time and regex. Let's say let's copy our path right here. Uh, right here. So supposing we don't want to have an escape sequence right here, we're just going to include this in a row string this way. You can use it as a variable as well. If you it all depends with the needs that you got. Mhm. And right here it is. As you can see, we don't have much trouble while working with this because we are using the row string. It is used to ignore the escape sequence, mostly used in path or regex. So lastly, on this part of the tutorial, on the last part, we're going to look at formatting numbers. So it's not pretty much complicated. So let's start with padding of numbers. Now here it's pretty simple. Let me give you an example. So this, sorry for the little errors, just me configuring out some things, but here we have it. So this actually works as padding. This tells it to put it 5 lines right from the left. Alternatively, you can have this from the right and even center. So for center, we use an upward symbol right here. So this aligns it to the center. Alternatively, you can align it to the left and it begins from the left. Now if you look at the terminal, from the terminal you can observe that if you put it exactly from the left, it's not in one line accordance with when you put it at the center. Alternatively, when you have it 5 lines before, like 5 digits from the beginning of the terminal, it indents 3 lines from here. And since this was a 2-digit number, it placed the last 2 digits to the last part of the five in the padding that you have placed right here. So if I happen to copy this space just in front of this 30 and let me paste it here, you can see if I move, it's going to be 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and we're back at the beginning of the VS Code printing, and that's how it works. If we change here, let's say place it at 10. Let me remove it so that it's clear. So you can see it's 10 times far away from the beginning of the terminal, and you can walk around this and do whatever you want with this. Just in case you have any issue, make sure to mention it in the comment section below, and I'll be glad to help. From here, you have the binary, octal, and hexagon. We've not covered this yet in this tutorial, but we're going to look at them in the oncoming tutorials. So we have so for this one, let me comment this out. So this we're just working out with numbers and playing around with them. So by this you convert them into binary. It's the same for octal and the same for hexagonal. So if I just customize this and set it out to octal, you can see here you have it. Now in binary, hexagon and octal, don't worry about this. We are going to cover to them, though they are not that much important as such now and in most cases, but we just cover them. I'm going to leave hexagonal part for you to try it out yourself. Then you can mention it down in the comment section below what you've got. With this, we come towards the end of this tutorial. Let's meet in the next tutorial, and you may have some nice time.